What's up PPs aka plant people? Today I want to do a video on pond. I'm a beginner, but I will just give you my 2 cents. I'm not a pro or anything, so just take this with a grain of salt. Everything is based on my experience. As you can see, pond is made out of different mineral stones such as zeolite, which is very ideal for pH balancing in your substrate. That's a whole separate video that I may go through. I just need to do a little bit more research. However, because pond works in a way where it absorbs the water and disperses it back to the plant evenly, it's able to hold on macro and micronutrients that remain available for your plant. In a way, it's a little buffer zone so you don't over-fertilize your plant. Not saying you should over-fertilize, you should still fertilize as needed or water your plants with quarter-strength fertilizer every watering. Pond uses a ratio of 40% water to 60% air. The main ingredients are zeolite, German washed pumice, German light lava, which permanently supplies your plant with iron, and also a slow release fertilizer that's added into your plant that will release up to 6 months time. It is fit for most plants including foliage, flowering plants like orchids, citrus plants, herbal, tomatoes, fruit trees, cacti, and more. I switched over to pond because I wanted to eliminate fungus gnats, but I soon realized that it would only reduce it and not totally get rid of them. But I'm quite happy with what I have done, and my plants seem happy too. This is totally optional, but I do find that pond is a little dense, so I do add extra amendments to the substrate to create an airier mix. The first amendment is turfus. I recently started adding this into my substrate just for more aeration. It's good for drainage and it also helps the root system grow a little bit more robust. My second additive is large perlite. It primarily is used to aerate your substrate, however it does retain some water as well. Before you use perlite, you should rinse it out as it does have a lot of dust, and the dust can potentially clog up your root system, just because roots do have pores too, so make sure you give it a good rinse before you use it. Next, we're just going to get a little bit sciencey. My third additive is the Orchida bark. It's not a soft nor spongy bark, so it doesn't absorb additional salts, which is great, since salt deposits can damage or slow the growth of your plant down by blocking the absorption of nutrients and water from its root system. You may find a whitish gray layer of fungi on the Orchida when you open the bag or on your substrate after you've started watering. It's most likely penicillium or Paecilomyces. These are not detrimental to your plants. They're often beneficial as they do help prevent colonization of pathogenic fungi. Orchida's aging process also destroys pathogenic microorganisms while at the same time promoting the formation of beneficial ones such as penicillium, as mentioned, and trichoderma. Doesn't penicillium remind you of penicillin? Well, penicillium produces antibiotics which the plant absorbs naturally through its own root system, and it produces its own immune response to fight against unwanted bacteria. Also, Orchida does take a long time to break down compared to other orchid barks. As the outer surface of the bark breaks down, it allows it to hold water and nutrient for the plant, while the inner structure still remains hard and stable. My last additive is Lecka. I do add 2 different sizes just for more aeration again, and as Lecka does have a water wicking property, that's why I do add both of these sizes in. I also add a layer of Lecka to the bottom of my pots and vessels just to create a water reservoir for my plants. As the plant is growing its root system, it does travel down towards the bottom, and that way it will slowly adjust and just adapt and create itself some water roots. I don't follow any recipes when I'm mixing my substrate together. I just do everything by eyeballing and feel, kind of like adding cream to your coffee. When the color looks right, that's when it's right. And also kind of like a mother's recipe, you ask her, hey, how do you make this? She's like, oh, you just put a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's the same thing, same idea. I guess the best way to explain it is that when I grab a handful of the substrate, you want to be able to see everything evenly. Like you get a good chunk of a little bit of everything. That's the best way I can explain it. I'm sorry. So as you mix, you're going to notice that the perlite will surface to the top. It is a lighter material and that's totally normal. Just mix as best as you can. Storage wise, I do put mine in a strong heavy duty Ziploc bag and I just give it a good shake before I start going in there and grabbing what I need to pop my plant up with. Through your plant parenthood journey, you'll have your own preferences. Like mine, I have developed this liking for a super airy pon, and it's what my plants like. So just play with it and you'll figure out what you like and what you don't, and also what your plants will appreciate. So as I mentioned before, as you can see, a handful will have a bunch of big Lecka, small Lecka, a good mixture of the Tryphus and perlite, and Orchida, of course. I forgot to mention you can add a little bit more of the slow release fertilizer and also re-add it into your substrate again halfway through the year, since they're only good for 6 months. I'm going to be repotting my Hoya clemensiorum. It doesn't have the greatest root system as it was an import. You can tell it's kind of dinky. To be honest, I don't know what's dead and what's not, so I just plop the whole thing into the vessel, and I will probably give you a little update a couple months down the road. But so far, I can tell you that it has not grown, but it's still alive. This is the clemensiorum freshly repotted into a clear vessel, no drainage. I like the clear pots so I can see how the roots are growing. This is my established Alocasia Frydek a couple months ago. This is what it looks like now. A little algae ridden, but look at its roots. Next couple of shots are my anthuriums that are loving pon life. Most of my anthuriums have been repotted to pon, and you can tell that they absolutely love it. Just look at their roots. They are nice, thick, juicy, and happy. Maybe except for this one. This is a little dried out. But I do have some philodendrons as well, such as this philodendron mame. It's not bad. I've heard philodendrons love passive hydro, but I do have a little traumatic story with that. That's why a lot of my philodendrons are still in a moss mix. I will make another video on moss as well. As always, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this really quick crash course on pon. If you have any other requests, please feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. I will add additional information about pon in the description box, so please be sure to read that. Thank you once again. Please give me a green thumbs up, like and subscribe, share of course, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you.